All right. Peace, power, and love as always and greeting. Welcome to the big picture. Decided I would jump on here. It's been kind of silent um on the channel, just dealing with life and some of the things that it'll throw at you. So, um trying to get to a point where I can be a little more consistent with my content because I do got a lot uh, to bring to the channel and to bring to the table. Uh, First of all, I want to thank all of my subscribers, and I really want to give a shout out and to those of you who comment. I uh, messaged back and forth with a brother the other day, and I do check the comments and respond back if I need to. Um, like I say, to me, this is not about trying to be YouTube famous. This is really, to me, an outlet to get the word out. An outlet to hopefully get us moving in the right direction. Hopefully, to wake us up, those of us who are still, um, those of us who are still in somewhat of a slumber. Um, and this is really what it's about to me. So I do, like I say, appreciate the subscribers, those of you who take the time out to listen to the content, those of you who take the time to comment, those who have shared, those who have told others. I am almost, well, I really haven't checked in the last month, and because it's really not, like I say, to me about ratings or anything, but I'm trying to get enough subscribers to where I can at least go live and be able to interact more as opposed to me talking at the camera. But um, if people are listening and people are appreciating it, I'm going to keep doing it because I feel like it's our job, it's our duty at this point. Um Also, let me give a shout out to my activatemedia.org family out of Boston, Mass, who will get the broadcast on Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern. And shout out to Patrick Wilson, uh, who runs that platform and brought me on board. Um, and like I say, that's just another, way to get the word out. And really, I'm more cut and dry. I don't really uh, conform to what everybody else is doing. And I'm more cut through the chase. I'm going to tell it how it is. Not going to really be trying to sugarcoat nothing. Like, this country has done everything to gain prominence by force and dominance. And then we get on these platforms and start telling the truth of the matter and exposing certain things and then just making people think a different way. Uh, we become threats, to the system, and then they change the rules and you can't say certain words. How I see on certain platforms now, people are talking about unaliving, and what is that? People are talking about where they picked up the pyong pyong, and this is we're adults, and then on these platforms you have the ability to put adult content, not for kids. So I don't really understand why some of us are so tight-lipped and so afraid to just tell the truth of the matter how it is and say what it is. This country has never held back and been afraid to do what it wanted to do, whether it was right or wrong. It's always said what it wanted to say, treated people how it wanted to treat people, whether it be right or wrong. And then they're so now afraid of the fact that people are out here actually doing a little research, doing a little reading, and exposing things that we were really never supposed to be savvy to anyway. Remember, we're all supposed to be slaves still if they had their way. That was their whole intention, you know. Uh, and I just really have no respect for a people, country, society that feels as if they're so high and mighty they don't have to follow the rules, and that kind of leads into what I want to talk about. I'm really becoming more bothered at the fact that we're becoming more and more targeted collectively, you know, um, and it's depressing as well as enraging that we're still suffering the same fate, some of the same practices that our ancestors had to deal with. Now I hate to see any of us suffering, but I, in particular, hate to see the black woman and the black child. But without the black woman, there is no black child. Now, don't get what I'm saying twisted, and I'm not trying to gain women followers. I'm just telling it how it is. Brothers, we are the lead. We are the power factor. We are the supposed to be thinking factor. And not saying that women are not thinkers, but I'm saying men are supposed to think in the sense and in the essence of the what's best collectively for all, not just himself, for all of those who are under his umbrella, you know. But that's our duty. And yes, we carry the seed, but without an egg, the seed is just that, being carried. So understand that, men, brothers, we have to step up and be the protectors of our black women, because see, history has shown us who is the desired one, and then just how they hypersexualize our black women, and then how you get these I'm not going to say anything derogatory, but you get these brainwashed kids out here like Sexy Red and the other one, I don't really keep up with all of them, but the other one, that Yoka or Hana or whoever, but just the most ratchet display of what women are not supposed to be. And they do the same thing when it comes to black men as well. They put the most thuggish or the most infeminized black man in front of us. See, and it's an agenda. It's an agenda to weaken the image of the black man, and then somehow try to uh, validify and put the stamp of approval on effeminization of black men and the empowerment of black women. Just check out what's happening, you know. And see, this is when we really need to start being a little more supportive of one another, and not only that, a little more unified within our collective. Um, Power is power, no matter who holds it. What you do with it is what matters, you know. And in this society, we are being brainwashed to gain that power and leave those who raised us, those who we grew up with, those who played major roles in our lives behind. See, this is the whole scheme of things when you start dealing with the devil and an unintelligent being. And you know who I'm referring to. I don't have to say it. And we've been dealing with this unintelligent being for years and years, and now we've always outthought them, but now it's evident that we are the master thinker. We are the master adapter. We're the master inventor, the master teacher, the master athlete, whatever it is, we pretty much have mastered it. The master musician, the master dancer, singer, whatever it is, we've mastered it. And there's a reason for that, because we were always denied that. But black man, it's time for us to truly exert our masculinity. It's time for us to truly exert our dominance. And I'm not talking about in a violent manner. I'm talking about in every aspect of life. And yes, self-defense is included in that. And in order for us to continue to move forward, in order for us to continue to survive, in order for us to protect the queen, the true queen of this earth, we have got to be in self-defense mode. We are always the target. Don't ever forget that. We are always the target. And I'm noticing now more than ever, it seems, that more and more black women are being targeted as well. You know, we have, and you know, they don't care about how old you are. They don't care about that. You know, there was the incident that happened out in California, I believe, where the elderly black couple was jacked up by some of them old Los Angeles sheriffs out there, them gang cops, them gang members in LA Sheriff's Department. But, and remember, they had the black man handcuffed, and he was sitting on, looked like maybe a rock, a boulder, or some sort, something. But he was detained and contained. Then they approached the elderly, his wife. And if you all can recall, she was videoing, and the cop grabbed her and pretty much one arm slammed her, flung her to the ground, and then punched her once, I know, twice, I think. But nonetheless, I'm tired of seeing our children, but I'm tired of seeing our black women being mistreated. There was a video about maybe 4 or 5 years ago of this old, real bold white guy, racist, you could tell. And there was a pregnant black lady. She was trying to get in her car, it looks like, but she was on the passenger side with the door open. And this guy was just all in her face, all in her space. She couldn't move. She was back against, so she was very vulnerable, in a very vulnerable position. And just so happens there was a brother coming along, walking along, that saw it and intervened and ended up punching that guy in his grill. Well deserved. And you can, I think, still pull that up on YouTube. But that's what we have to do as men. And then our women will feel a little more secure. Our children can feel a little more secure. And then not only that, that strengthens the community, believe it or not. Just standing together strengthens the community. And our strength lies within one another. The black man and the black woman, we're yin and yang, you know. But through all the turmoil, powerful when working towards goals, when moving in the same direction. And that's what I say we are collectively. And see, society knows this, and this is why they work. Have you ever noticed they will let any and every community rise up except the black communities? And when they do see that, they intervene, either shutting it down or intervene financially, some kind of way where they can have some sort of a say-so, some sort of a control. This is who we're dealing with. And this is what we're dealing with. And this is not all Caucasian people, but there's a white madness. And I'm not talking about anger. I'm talking about insanity. See, racism is the virus that this country has never thought about exterminating. Racism is the virus that has slowly managed to stay visible and active. And through all of that racist virus activity, we have still managed to maintain who we are. But through all that racist and violent activity, there's never been a consequence for their action. And that therefore we still deal with what we deal with. We have to become the consequence. I'm going to say it again. We have to become the consequence for their misguided actions. And like I say, it's not all of them, but for those of you who remain silent, it's because you know what you have to gain by remaining silent. And you know what you have to lose by becoming vocal, by doing the right thing. So you remain silent because you don't want to lose your privilege. You don't want to lose your ability to be white in America and all that that entails. And like I've said several times, I don't put all white people out, group all of them together, but let's be real. There are those who are like that out here, and in a very high percentage. And we're seeing that now with the white madness of Trump and how everybody's feeding into Donald Trump again, because Donald Trump talks that racist rhetoric. See, that virus that's truly destroying America, they ain't worried about no vaccine for that. They not worried about trying to correct that. They want to let that thrive, and they want to make sure that that virus remains active by any means necessary, because it's all about power and control and white madness and the insanity that comes with that. Because how can you in your right mind vote for a Donald Trump unless you believe in the same things he believes in? And there's a large number of people in America that are down to overthrow this government. Don't get it twisted. He's got a very wide base, and 100% of those in his base, damn near, I know it's not 100%, but a high percentage are ready to pick up arms and do whatever to whoever. And remember, I said this earlier, we are always the target. And see, then we have the situation that just happened with rest her soul, and condolences to her family. Rest in power, sister Lolita Hall, who was 61, shot by old William Willie Brock, 81-year-old, Trumper. And this happened in Clark County, which I'm taking is right outside Dayton, Ohio. It happened in a little suburban area, South Charleston. But there was a so-called scam call going on where someone had contacted old Willie Brock, old six-shooting, gun-toting, Trumper, Willie Brock, and they told him that he needed to pay, I think it was $12,000 to get his son out of jail. Now, I'm going to stop right there, because I'm only 54, and I know the older you get, sometimes you don't think as fast. You're not on your toes, things that are said sometimes may go over your head the older you get, your understanding of things. But they said that the caller told him they needed $12,000 to get his son out of jail. And they were sending an Uber driver to pick it up. Said Uber driver, our sister Lolita Hall, 61 years old, trying to make some extra money doing Uber, picked up her phone and probably scrolled through to see what was what. And I'm going to tell you probably exactly what she thought. You know, oh, shoot, a package pickup. I ain't got to deal with nobody. And whoop-de-whoop, yeah, I'm going to go do this. And clicked on it and then inserted herself into whatever scam these people had going. And she just happened to be the Uber driver to click on it and go over there. Now, I would like to think that any Uber driver that may have clicked on that may have ended up in the same outcome, maybe not. And my heart is for the latter, because this is America. And not only was she black, she was dealing with a madman who came to the door, they said, with his gun and took her phone and wouldn't give it back. And then from the video that has surfaced, that I don't know if everybody has seen it. If not, you know, you can watch it at your own discretion. It's disturbing to say the least, because you hear her pleading for her life. And even after he shoots her the first time, you can still hear her pleading for her life. And then a second time, and she's just screaming at that point. Then there's silence. Then he calls 911 and gives them this story, which I'm pretty sure was kind of hard to believe for them. And I don't know, it could have happened. Only time will tell. And with technology now, they can check records, phone records, and maybe even possibly, well, with phones nowadays, though, you know, you could toss them just like you would any other phone. But I'm sure that they should be able to have record of this call, and Uber should have record of that call and where it originated and whose name it's under, whether it's false name or their real name. But there are, you know, just a bunch of ways that can be investigated. Now, will they investigate it thoroughly? Who knows? You know, this was a black woman, and we are in America. And this was a white man, and we're in America. Now, honestly, in my opinion, I understand the scenario and what was said that was happening. But once he opened the door and saw that she was no threat, he had snatched her phone. She couldn't call for help. She was consistently backing away. Even when she came back, into camera view, she was still walking backwards, facing him, walking backwards, begging him, you know, and screaming for help. And this bothers me, because will we get justice for this? You know, will her family get justice? And I don't care what justice is. It'll never be enough to bring her back. it'll never be enough to fill in the gap that that family has now lost. And see, this is what's so disturbing to me, because I've lost family to these coward cops. And that's why I have a disdain for law enforcement, because 85% of them do things the way they want to do them. They don't do things the way they should. And, you know, that's, um, I, it puts a, I won't say fear, but an anxiety, because any interaction with a cop, I don't care if you get out of your car and there's you're going into a store and there's a cop car parked there, and you know he ain't there for you, but your heart still jump if you black in America. You know he ain't there for you, but your heart still jump when you see that car, them lights, or when you see a policeman, you know, even though you know he ain't there for you. You know, when you riding down the street and you see one turn off the block and get behind you, your heart speeds up, because is he finna pull me over? You know, and I hope that he ain't one of those kinds. See, these are things that not only us as black men have to worry about, our sisters have to worry about that too. And we as black men should eliminate that worry. We should do everything in our power to eliminate that worry from the minds of our women and children. See, don't forget, few months back in June of last year, when the white woman, the old white woman, Susan Lawrence, shot Ajika Owens through the door. And see, they charged her with manslaughter with a firearm, which is the wrong charge. The charge to be murder. There's nothing allegedly done. Just like in this case with Miss Hall and old Willie Brock. There is no alleged anything. And I get sick of watching us on these YouTube channels trying to be so correct in what we say. There's nothing alleged about what happened to Miss Hall. It's facts. We saw what happened to her. We heard what happened to her. What's alleged about that? Ain't a damn thing alleged about that. It's right there for the whole world to see. And yet, we still close our eyes to it. In the case of Ajika Owens, we ought to be keeping up noise about those charges. Manslaughter with a firearm and assault. Assault. Some of the weakest charges you could give a murderer. And I'm really waiting to see the outcome of this case in old Willie Brock. Because see, these are the kind of things that we're dealing with. See, I think back to Sandra Bland, a simple traffic stop. And then you got an old arrogant, coward cop who don't like the fact that she knew her rights and didn't like the fact that she wasn't obeying his orders. And see, that's what eats up a whole lot of these old arrogant coward cops, because they feel like they the shit. They got that badge and that gun. You better do what I say, girl, or you better do what I say, boy. Slave catchers, their origin and the tactics haven't changed much at all. They still do what they were originated to do: contain niggas, keep niggas in order. So they're not straying away from their origin. They're only reverting back to it. And this is nothing new. They ain't just start doing our women like this. Tatiana Jefferson, Breonna Taylor, and so many more Korean gangs. So many more that could be named. Women. I'm not even talking about the brothers. I'm talking about the sisters who have had to deal with this white madness, this insanity, this racism, this virus that keeps on keeping on in America. Where the vaccine for that at, America? Joe, Kamala, because that's your name in my book now, Kamala. You just ain't got no black points in my book, because you done showed me exactly who you are. And that's another thing. Just I'm digressing, but stop voting Democrat. Stop voting, period, for these people who don't give a damn about us. Too busy trying to shuck and jive us for a vote. And a vote ain't never got us a damn thing. A vote got them Asians, our vote got those Asians a hate crime bill, but our vote didn't get us shit. Like I always say, that gotta get you that little old ass white sticker that say I voted. And I get so sick of seeing some of us niggas so happy to put that damn sticker on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever platform you're on. Put it on one and be on all of them. That you voted. So what? What is that really going to change? This is the question that I'm asking. What has it ever really changed? See, what changes things is when we come together collectively and stand up and say, this is what we want. And this is what we gonna do until we get what we want. We gotta go back to the black print and the black way of doing things. We know how to get results, but we've somehow become discouraged from results. We've been discouraged from trying to seek results. We're discouraged from seeking better treatment, discouraged from speaking out against what's wrong and speaking up for what's right, discouraged against saying anything about what's wrong. See, I can't do that. My spirit just won't let me sit there and watch wrong prevail and just keep winning. You know, they say that, I heard some say that, you know, the eclipse was a God's cleansing of the earth and a reawakening to a new way of doing things. And we need to reawaken ourselves and get back to our culture. I've been saying this. Get back to our way of doing things. Because my movement is the Black First Movement. BFM, period. I'm tired of titles and all these labels and stuff that we want to put on each other and that we want to give ourselves to make you feel like you better than the next person. You ain't no better than, and you ain't got no haters, because ain't nothing special enough about you that people will take the time to be just hating you. That's the mentality that we've been coaxed into adopting. Ain't nobody that important. I'm not important enough. I don't feel like I got no haters. I may have people that don't like me, and so what? I don't feel like they wake up every day. Oh, you know, you. That's crazy on your part. And then you letting them in your head too much. You giving them the ability to hate, because you are conjuring up the hate that they might not even have. See, and that's why I say all that old nonsense and following all these old fake ass, phony, backstabbing, bent over backwards entertainers out here like we do. Well, I don't, but a lot of us do. All of them. The majority of them is I see more and more of them getting away from the Hollywood, but you was once involved, and what did you have to do to get involved, and what did you have to do that made you quit? Because they asked you to do something else to go up another level, but you wasn't quite down for that. You were down to do whatever to get in. But to get to that next level, you was like, and I see a lot of them bowing out, a lot of them on these Tubi movies now. Well, I say we got to start being there for us. And we've got to start being more collective in our thoughts. And then we've got to start being more concerned about those of us who are going through the same thing that you going through, the same one that's thinking on your level and not no million billionaire level, because I don't really give a damn about $1. Yeah, I can have 1,000,000 of them. I can do more things with them, but that's not going to control me. And a lot of people get that money mentality, and money becomes the main focus, and everything else is second, is back burner, because it's about the money. You feel like you can't do nothing without the money. There's several things that can be done without the money, and several things that can be done without money to get money. And if anybody can figure that out, we can. We know how to take nothing and make a whole lot of something. We real good at that. So we can take $1 and make it 5, 10, 30, 40, 70,000, 80 million if we put our mind to it. And we really need to start putting our minds to it. It's time for us to be able to lean on one another and be able to get what we need. And I say this all the time. I've been saying this lately, and I hope this sink in too. Oh, we need each other. Let me throw it on in there, because I haven't. But I want this to sink in. If we start using each other for our own benefit, like everybody else uses us for their benefit, we'll be unstoppable. If we start using each other for our benefit and not to get over. And it's a lot of us out here on that using to get over. And we got to be careful, because we got to weed them out too. Anything that's against black first, got to go. Anything that's against black first doesn't belong. And I'm not saying black first, and I'm saying black first and think about everything that we need. Schools. We need our own jobs. We need our own banks. We need our own hospitals, clinics, all of that. We need all of that. Plumbers, bankers, banks, all of that, grocery stores. So this is what will put us ahead. This is what will put us back on track. Collective thought. There's more power in the people than there is people in power. There is more power in the people than there is people in power. Let that sink in. And I've said this and I'm going to keep saying it. I am about black first because nobody is concerned about us. We don't have no allies. Ain't nobody willing to get on the front line. Ain't nobody ready to be a target, but every day we're targets. Our black women are targets due to this white madness, this insanity, this virus of racism that keeps rearing its ugly head, that ain't nobody worrying about no vaccine for. Where the vaccine for that, America? For the racism. And then for those of you who say get over it, well, help us get over it by helping your people get over it. And stop instilling it in your children. And it's evident that y'all still doing a lot of that too. By how your children behave. And the things that are becoming more and more seen on the internet. You know, y'all are raising racists. Y'all ain't trying to kill the virus. Y'all feeding it. So with that being said, that's about all I got. Black men, we really got to provide the atmosphere for peace in our communities. We got to provide the atmosphere for security in our communities. We got to protect the queen at all costs. We all are targets out here. That's why I say we need each other. We all we got. And we all we need. We ain't never needed nobody else. But look and see who always coming grabbing shit because they always needing shit. Because they don't want to do shit. So they get somebody else to do it. And with that being said, thank y'all. Another big picture. I'm really just here to, like I say, really network. And I'm hoping to maybe, gain enough traction to where I can start networking with some of these other like-minded brothers that I follow. And just doing a lot more activism work here in the Dallas area and surrounding areas. Because that's really what it's about, being vocal, being about the change. And then not only being about it, trying to make it happen. Because we have the ability to make it happen. And there's so few things that we could do to change our condition. You'd be amazed. It ain't but about 3-4 things that we could do to change our condition in a year. In 1 year. But it's up to us. And do we really want it? Because like I said, and like I've been saying, we focus on the things that we need, the things that we want will start, falling in place. Okay, that's all. Appreciate y'all for watching. Like I say, if you really appreciate it, share, tell a friend. Shout out once again to my ActivateMedia.org family in Boston, Massachusetts, who get the broadcast on Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Patrick Wilson, shout out. Thank you, brother. And, my big picture family here. Appreciate y'all. Much love. Uh, until the next one, like I always say in closing, let's plan, organize, and unify because we all have a key right here and right here. I'm out. Peace, power, and love.